So I think there's a void in the market for a discography site where you could host all the music that a person has made under one roof. And it could have links, let's say, to actual places where you could listen to or purchase the music. But the main point of it would be just to categorize all the music that that artist has done. Because what happens is artists move around from labels and different publishing outlets. And what happens is it all gets sprayed everywhere and fragmented, so you can't find everything. So, for instance, if I wanted to look up Seal's full catalog, I actually couldn't easily find it because he's made so much music and so many different ways. And that's just an example of like how difficult it would be to find one artist's full catalog of music, their full discography. So it would be a good idea to have a social media site that users, it's kind of like a Wikipedia but for discography, where users and artists also could officially make like a discography for their full catalog of music. So you could see at least the data, if not live active links to additional content. But if, let's say, an artist has 50 tracks with Warner Brothers, and then the artist has, 100 tracks with Sony, et cetera, et cetera. Well, from a discography site, you could find all the material in one place. Because also what happens with artists is they end up with a lot of scrap tracks that don't make it onto specific labels or specific releases. And it'd be a good opportunity for people to be able to find very specific tracks from places that are unconventional. So, for instance, if you were looking up somebody like Seal, you could find thousands of different kinds of tracks, and you can't find them easily just from going to a music outlet. And in fact, even the distributors online, some of them have some of the works and some of them have others. So that's just one basic example of like how a site that's a discography for artists could be utilized to keep a full database of the actual content that they've produced over their lifetime without having to worry about interfering with the contracts and interfering with the specific label agreements. In this way, you can get a window into the full potential that the artist provided the musical industry. So that's just a thought. And I'm a good example of that as well because I have 6 different publishers and I'm also producing music independently. And so if you go to look up me, oh my God, I'm nobody, and my musical catalog is a giant mess because it's hard to find lots of stuff. Plus, there's stuff that I've done that I haven't even had time to register properly. So, if there was a discography site, it would be really handy to be able to link all this stuff in one place. Because about all I can do right now is make a very long works registry. And the works registry, is kind of a static database thing. It's not very exciting. There's no frills. And there's certainly no way to easily preview the content. And also, there's no way to share a works registry in a broad platform like, let's say, YouTube or whatever. So even if I went to the trouble to make let's say, a 20-page document that listed all my works and where you could go find them, I can't actually easily share that on any platforms where it would get noticed. So if you have like a discography site, then you could have a meeting place where everybody who's a fan of music and a particular artists, they would go into these places to really see the full availability of the content of the artist. And very simple concept, but I've gone on for like 5 minutes about it. But basically, instead of going to iTunes and only finding 10 tracks, you go to Discography and you find the full catalog. Very simple concept.